If you've opened Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or even watched the news lately, you've probably noticed one word popping up everywhere: peptides. Hollywood is talking about them, professional athletes are using them, biohackers swear by them, weight loss clinics advertise them, longevity centers are built around them. But here's the question: what exactly are peptides?
Welcome to Root Cause Holistic Health. I'm Dr. John Harmon, physician, brain health expert, and your host on this no-fluff journey into whole body healing.
And I'm Tracey Green, wellness coach, mom, and co-host in this space where we get real about what actually heals, not just what's trending.
We're here to help you uncover what's really going on and empower you to take the next step in your healing journey.
What do you think, Doc? What are peptides?
Yeah, what are peptides? There are so many people using them and they don't really know what they are. They know the name of them, but they don't really know a lot of times what those peptides do inside of the body. But think of peptides as substances your body makes to get a job done, to activate a pathway, to turn this biological pathway on. They do things. It's a means of communication. I make this peptide, it goes to here, like the GHK copper peptide, involved in many different pathways in the body. And so it's accelerating those pathways. Some of them kind of naturally decline as we age, and people want to start those up like they were in their 20s again. And now you have kind of I'll be really politically correct, a show, but a couple of key questions. What's the purity? Where were they made? Is it a reputable company? Those kinds of things. Those are conversation one should really have before injecting anything into their body.
Well, and now we know, obviously, injections aren't the only option. So let's talk about this new technology, phototherapy, with the live weight patches.
It's an interesting topic, and it's one of the reasons I wrote the book about copper peptides is because one of my really good friends, and we've had him on the show, Dr. Karlfeld, he has a regenerative cancer care center in Meridian, Idaho. And I knew, and he told me this, he said that he does GHK copper peptide infusions as part of his anti-cancer protocols, because that peptide can help reset the cellular death cycle of some types of cancer and turn off some types of cancer genes. So I was thinking about this, and I heard that the dermatologists were the first to embrace the GHK copper peptide in their creams, lotions, for the benefits to skin and hair. And so I thought about this. Doctors can give you an infusion. And then one of my friends said that she does GHK injections. She hates it because it stings really terribly bad. So you can get an infusion, you can get an injection, or a cream or a lotion from a dermatologist. But now there's a fourth option. And there was a man who was commissioned by the Navy to invent this technology. And what it is, it's a phototherapy patch that one places on the skin. And the patch is powered by the energy we emit. So we emit different frequencies. The patch reflects back a specific frequency. But the interesting thing is that it actually activates your own production of GHK copper peptide.
Naturally, you don't have to inject anything, don't have to worry about the crazy ingredients, where they came from.
You don't have to worry about dose, because your body's making it and it's not going to make it wrong. That's the really great thing about that. And that company, LifeWave, did a double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled study measuring the level of the GHK copper peptide in the bloodstream of the participants in the study. And what was really interesting is that it didn't have that much of an effect over a 24-hour period. But over a 7-day period, there was a huge increase. And so we look at that. There's research on that peptide since 1977, 27 years before the company that makes this patch even existed. But the researcher figured out how to activate our body's own production of that peptide. That's what makes it so remarkable.
So, in your opinion, injectable peptides, are they safe?
Yeah, that's the big question. And that goes back to our first question. What's the source?
Yeah.
Is the purity tested by independent labs? Those are questions one should ask. Do they come from China? I mean, not everything from China is bad, but I'm probably less likely to trust something that I inject into my body if it's coming from China, much like I would question cat food coming from China. I've heard some really terrible things about cat and dog food where pets died. So what makes us think it would be hugely different?
You know me and ingredients. I mean, I read ingredients on everything. I'm even worried about ingredients of the clothes that we're wearing, right? And my workout gear that I sweat in in the sauna. I'm worried about it leaching chemicals into my system. I mean, I worry about ingredients. What really bothers me about these injectable peptides is, like you just said, the dosage. So then what's the long-term effect? I mean, when you really compare peptides, an injectable versus the LifeWave patches, there's no comparison. I mean, I would much rather wear a patch that activates my own GHK peptide rather than injecting something. I'm not injecting anything into my system that's, man-made, synthetic, coming from somewhere else, or have to worry about the dosage.
You can make huge errors in concentration, like factors of 100. Is it 1.0 per gram of liquid, or is it, supposed to be 0.001? And if you give one, that's 1,000 times more concentrated. And are we weighing it ourselves?
Oh my gosh.
How's that happening? I don't know.
Our goal is simple: to help our listeners separate fact from fiction and understand the science behind the different approaches, and give our audiences, the information to make informed decisions. We talk about informed decisions all the time with several different topics. The whole basis of root cause is getting to the root cause of things. And we believe best healthcare decisions are made by informed people, not marketing headlines or social media trends. I want to talk about supporting the body naturally, and not replacing it. And I worry about these peptides, that are not natural, injecting. Is that healing the body? What is it actually doing to the body? I mean, I think they're having short-term benefits without weighing the long-term effects. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, and also, anytime something is manufactured, there is always, and if you study chemistry at all, the mirror image of something. Like if I hold my right hand up and I put my left hand up here, are those the same? No, one is the mirror image of the other. Mm-hmm. But it's the same components. Like anytime you make a chemical, you have isomers, what they're called, which they have all of the components, but it's the reverse of something. It's not always treated the same in the body when you have those various things. So is it pure? Is it exactly what it says it is? We don't know. So I think that's why, and I've spoken to friends who've gone to regenerative medicine conferences, and they have people talking about this whole peptide thing. And one of my really good friends said that that's about to go away because of the FDA clamping down on all of this stuff. I don't know if it's true. This is what he said coming from this regenerative medicine conference and people who are in the know regarding those things. So if you're using them, you might not be able to continue using them. The great thing about just having a little phototherapy patch is that it's a global thing. It's not something artificial. It's just signaling your body to make something. And that's why, Michael Phelps and the U.S. men's swim team, they were the first civilians to use this technology in 2004. That's why they won all the medals that they did. Well, the other countries saw these little sticker things on their skin and thought they were steroids. So there was an investigation, and the world and U.S. doping agencies said there's no doping. And so now we have this legal, if you're an athlete, you have to make sure that's not doping. It has to be cleared. It's a legal, basically an assist to your body, your reparative processes, your ability to recover, get back in the gym. You don't get as sore with that peptide, with the GHK copper peptide. So it's just a natural thing. Your body just makes it, like your body makes vitamin D when you go out in the sun. It's similar, it's same process, but different channel. You change the channel, you get a different radio station. Same thing with frequencies. Change the frequency, it's not UVB light anymore. You're not going to get vitamin D. Similar pathway, your body makes a peptide instead of vitamin D. And it's just a simple little patch that looks like a little Band-Aid.
My favorite part of the research with LifeWave is the 20 years of research and all of the patents.
Yeah.
I don't know of another peptide out there that has that 20-year history. And besides the fact there's no side effects. I've talked to several of my girlfriends that have tried peptides for weight loss or for this, that, or the other. And they're like, I'm allergic to them. I can't inject these. They make me feel sick. They do this, they do that. There's no side effects to the patches, and you have all the research behind it.
And then think of the difference. So if you have an injection, you can't take it back. If you're taking a pill, you can stop taking a pill if your body doesn't respond. Everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
And so one really doesn't know what the ideal dose would be. And that's the, I don't want to call it a hazard, but that's the issue when you are measuring anything. And it's, if a person hasn't done injections in their life and they're looking at a syringe, what does each one of those lines mean? Well, it depends on the size of the syringe. And so,
oh my gosh,
it's easy to make mistakes like that. People have done it before. It's not an issue. But if this is something new, and you got to pay close attention to that.
I know that we're very careful about, what we recommend, what doctors we put our name behind, who we say, yes, you should go see this doc, or yes, you should use this product. I have personally used the LifeWave patches over a year now, and I know you're 6 years? Are you 6 years into patching?
I am 6 years in, and if you would have told me when I first started using this technology that over a 6-year period, my biological age would go backwards to 58. Oh, yeah. I'm 72.
That's awesome.
And if the right bundle branch block in my heart would go poof. Can I say it was directly from that? Not really, because I didn't know I had one when I first started using this technology, and I wouldn't have known had I not had 2 stress echoes done over about a year and a half apart. So that actually, when that went away, that's what motivated me to write the book, How to Reverse Aging, a Comprehensive Guide to Copper Peptides. And so, yeah, my life has totally changed. You look at, when you talk about getting older, there's older, and then I still have my vigor and vitality older. I can still travel to go visit people older. Or I sit in my sofa and stare at the floor. And because I can't do anything, I don't have enough energy. And so the fact that I have not only felt younger, but my biological age test tells me so. So that actually changes my, in air quotes, old age coming up, doesn't it?
I think that's amazing. Did you say your biological age now is 58?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I can't wait. I'm getting one of those tests too. I can't wait to see what my age is.
I wish I would have done one to get my biological age before I started using this
Yep.
technology. But I was in really bad shape, and I had had a bone infection that nearly took me out. I had neck fusion surgery. You can see the scar right there. I had carpal tunnel surgery. I had hernia surgery. It was, I was ready for some regeneration when that started happening, when I
Gosh.
got exposed to this technology. Ready and
So
open.
your story is amazing, absolutely amazing. Mine was, I think, 2 to 3 weeks. I was having really bad hot flashes. So I'm 49 now. So obviously last year I was 48. I was having really, really bad hot flashes, and I really didn't want to get on hormone replacements. I didn't want to, go through all of that. And then, I got introduced to the patches, and I thought, what the heck? It can't hurt. It's like you said, it's not a pill. It wasn't injected. It was a patch. And I think it was about 2 to 3 weeks that all of my hormones like leveled out, my hot flashes. I was sleeping through the night again, which was amazing because I was waking up in the middle of the night, like changing the sheets, drenched in sweat, and feeling yucky, brain fog, all of that. My hair, that's the biggest thing. I get asked about my hair all the time. My hair is growing like crazy. It's
Yeah,
thick.
I noticed that actually when I came on the podcast. We haven't seen each other for a while.
Yeah, I don't color it anymore. Well, I'm going to, so I'm not going to say I'm not because I can't give up my blonde. I've been letting it go. So I haven't colored my hair since November, and it's just growing like crazy. But with the hot flashes, the weight loss, oh my gosh, your body wants to be healthy. And the X39 was exactly what I needed. Activating my own GHK peptide was exactly what my body needed. I work out all the time. I run half marathons, and I'm definitely not as sore as I used to be in between training with the different patches. That's another thing that's amazing. It's not just one patch. There's several different patches for different things.
Yeah, and you talk about when you're talking about weight loss, people think it's calories in, calories consumed. It's not just about that. It's about toxins and your body's ability to detox and other things. And according to many people I listen to, it has to do with the light, sunlight, and different frequencies of light that we get that affects our metabolism and other things. So that's another topic. But
Oh yeah.
when you consider that your body is detoxing, it's the processes in your body of for example, your gut. Some of the things that GHK copper peptide does: rapid gut lining, healing. It repairs skin. It decreases wrinkle depth. It increases. It repairs the elastin in our skin that makes our skin flexible, and also makes it thicker, so that we don't have thin skin that just kind of hangs on our body. So it keeps its fullness. Those are just a few of the benefits. I would recommend to people that they just Google, what does the GHK copper peptide do? Bam! If you go to PubMed and type GHK copper peptide, there are 15 pages of research papers that have been written about that peptide. And those are the ones that I actually reference in the book. There are 91 references to the literature in the book that I wrote.
And one little patch, we can activate our own GHK peptide with one little patch.
Yep.
It seems so simple. I think maybe that's what's hard for people to grasp. It's so simple.
Yeah. First of all, a lot of people don't know what peptides are.
I think that's a great point.
Insulin is a peptide. Norepinephrine is a peptide. All kinds of peptides, and they're amino acids hooked together in different patterns. And sometimes, like the GHK, it holds on to a copper atom. And copper has a place to carry 2 electrons around. This is why one of the reasons it's called the master key, where it can turn on different pathways. And it activates different processes in your body. And one of the most important functions of GHK, now think about this. Hear my words, hear my voice. The GHK copper peptide turns back turns the genes back on that are responsible for activating your body to make more of your own stem cells. That's why it's one of the most important peptides that's in our bodies.
Broad stem cells. I know that we talked about this before, but I think that stem cells is a hot topic, and I think that we can weave it into this conversation just a little bit, because I think that it's important, because you know me and ingredients. I want to touch just briefly. I don't think people understand. We talk about peptides, where they come from, that you can activate your own peptides. So that stem cells is a completely different topic. I don't think people understand where stem cells can come from. They think, oh, I'm just going to go get some stem cells. Not that easy.
Yeah, the local bakery baked them up. I'm going to go grab me some. They're kind of like raspberry-filled donuts.
Yeah.
No, stem cells, our body makes them. Every cell in your body started out as a stem cell. Unfortunately, once we get past about 25, our ability to make them starts to decrease. We don't know why. In biblical times, if you believe in the Bible, so-and-so lived to be 800 years old. Well, we don't do that anymore. Is it our genes have been altered by all of the pollution, the stressful lifestyle? We don't know. So our bodies start to make fewer stem cells after about the age of 25, about 50% decrease. Now, this is problematic, because when you're 30 and you fall when you're skiing, it hurts a lot more.
Yeah.
And other things. And then we start to notice changes in our skin and our hair, our sports ability, our athletic abilities and things like that. So people are interested in getting stem cell increases in our bodies. They pay a lot of money to do that. I've heard 100,000 in the early days. People were mortgaging their homes. They had something like Parkinson's or something serious. And people said that, hey, if you get stem cell injections, you have a pretty good chance this will get better. And so very, very expensive. And here's where they come from. Most of them. When an infant is born, the umbilical cord is attached, obviously, to the umbilicus and to the placenta. And in the hospital, a natural birth, the baby would be delivered still connected to the placenta through the umbilical cord. And they would put the baby on mama's tummy and let them bond and wait until that stops pulsing and then turns whitish. That means all of the stem cells that are supposed to go to that little baby to repair the damage of squeezing through a little opening about that big, and all of that damage that needs to be repaired rapidly. And so the wisdom of the body decreases vitamin K, so the blood is a little thinner, so that those stem cells don't have to work so dang hard through jello instead of something that's thinner, our blood. And then and if you just let them all go into that infant, everything is perfectly timed. And then afterwards, when the baby latches on and there's a higher content of vitamin K in that milk. And so the baby gets it. So that's the way it's supposed to. But here's what happens. We got to clamp that cord as soon as it's out. And we got to cut that cord. And I'm not here to talk bad about hospitals or the system, but I disagree with that. And part of it is because if they clamp that cord and save those stem cells, they make a lot of money on that. And they sell the placenta to the beauty industry, and they sell the foreskin, the beauty industry. It has a lot of different types of wonderful cells in there, and they harvest those. So here's the question. If you're going to get stem cell injections from somebody else, wouldn't it be important to know if you are female that
Male
you're
or female?
getting female stem cells or vice versa?
Yep.
I don't care what your ideas are about gender. It plays zero role.
Yeah.
If you are a biological female, are you getting female cells or male cells? So that is unknown. You get stem cells. They don't tell you what they are. And then they have a hard time calling them stem cells because there are other things. When you extract that out, you don't just have stem cells. You have the fluid, you have other biological components in with those stem cells. So they made them stop calling it stem cells and they call it biologics now because that's all inclusive. And you actually really don't know what's in the biologics. Isn't that special?
Oh, it goes back to you have to know what you're injecting in your body. It doesn't, whether you have to know. Ingredients matter in everything. Ingredients matter. I think I say it every day.
Here's a question for our listeners. Which is safer? Getting an injection of somebody else's stem cells or putting a phototherapy patch on your skin to get your own body to make your own stem cells?
I know it's all about education, and that's what we're really big on. We're big on, getting to the root cause of a lot of different diseases and illnesses and, things like this, and talking about peptides and stem cells. I think it's amazing that we're in such a, 2026. And I think that more people want to live longer. And I really do think these things like phototherapy, red light therapy, colonics, I think things that are natural are finally coming to the forefront for all of us to live longer.
Yes. And I do have to make a little bit of a disclaimer because everybody responds different to different things. And we talked about our results. Your results could be different. None of this that we say should be interpreted as a treatment or a cure or any such thing. The phototherapy patch activates your body to take care of business on its own, as opposed to injections. And also to be compliant in legal, we have to say, because of some restrictions, that in order for your body to make more of those stem cells, the X39 patch you would want to combine with our powder supplement called Cellergize Morning. And this is why it has everything, all of the components your body needs to make stem cells. And then the X39 activates the genes that tell your body to make those stem cells that you want to make. That is the fully compliant way of explaining elevation of stem cells.
Actually, Doc, I'm glad that you brought that up because we definitely need to stay compliant for sure. I don't want to get in any trouble with anybody. The other thing that I want to bring up, the patch starts working the second you put it on.
Right.
So people may not feel something right away. I mean, it may take weeks, months, it could take a while. But what I really like about it, it starts working. You just know. We have thermography scans, and we've got all kinds of data and studies that show that these patches work based on because we all glow, we emit heat. So the second the patch is put on our body, it starts working. That's what's so fascinating about it. However, like we talked about, you may not feel it immediately.
Right. We know that it starts working immediately, but it depends on what it's affecting the most, whether you would feel it or not. Some people die from things they don't even feel. And, yeah, he died of this and that. Oh, we didn't even know he had that. Well,
yeah.
If you don't know you have something and then it starts getting repaired and it's something you don't know you have, so how would you know if you don't have it or if it's going away? It's not easily measurable. But once you know the mechanism and the process of how it works, that's how it works. It's like you take a medicine. Do you feel it right away? No, not really. Sometimes it takes a couple of weeks to build up the dose before that medicine even starts to work, isn't it? Sometimes that has to do that. Well, sometimes, like the lady, the pharmacist today, I was in a pharmacy and we started talking, and I didn't know that she had a rare form of myelitis. And I put that patch on her today, and within about 30 seconds, she said, "Wow, it already feels warm right there." I wasn't one of those
Wow.
people. My changes took 2 years. So it could be anywhere in between.
You know what? That you just reminded me of a story. Can you talk about the patient that you had in your office before you officially retired? Someone else came in. You were seeing the wife, and the husband came in, and you're like, wait, what's going on with you? And you ended up patching him. And then he ended up, okay.
Yeah, Scott.
Yep. Oh, Scott, thank you.
Yeah. So this couple came in, and she came in, they brought her in for terrible anxiety. And that's what I used to treat in my brain-based clinic. And, but I noticed that Scott, her husband, and anybody who wants to hear this story, if you'll type in Scott, send us a message and just put Scott, I'll send you a video of him telling this story. But this is what happened. He was moving around the room like a 90-year-old man. And I said, Scott, I know you didn't come to see me because of this, but what's going on with you? And he said, well, the Marines diagnosed me as having ALS type symptoms. I'm taking $1,100 a month worth of prescriptions. I'm taking 8 to 10 pain pills a day. I can't work. I can't play with my kids. I mean, this is the story that he tells. You can watch it. Oh. And I said, and I had just found out about this technology in 2020, March of 2020. So this was in April. It's like mid-April. And I said, I just heard about this technology, Scott. Here's 10 of them. I just felt so bad for him. Here, go try it. I really didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And they came in, it was like 2 weeks later, and he was there. And I said, Scott, how's it going? And we went out in the parking lot. He was able to run through our parking lot.
Oh my gosh.
That got my attention because I hadn't noticed much of anything myself at all. But then when he told me that, and it was about the same time I had given some of these to a nurse who had to retire from nursing because of MS. She retired after 22 years of nursing. And she told me, I talked to her, she said, well, after 4 days, I was doing wall squats and walking without my walker. And I said, you're telling me about a dream you had. This is not possible. But she said, no. And I knew her. So I believed her. And so those two things really got my attention because I didn't really feel a lot. The concept sounded really good to me, but it wasn't until about 2 years later that I found out that right bundle branch block went away. These glasses are not corrective glasses. These are blue blockers. I used to wear bifocals, and I don't wear glasses at all. These are not corrective at all. They're just blue blockers. So I'm not bound to my glasses when we go on a trip or when I'm trying to read. So, and you know, your body may respond differently. Everybody's different, but gosh, for such a very inexpensive way of assisting and signaling your body to do things on its own, it's a very remarkable technology.
What I love about this conversation is the patch X39, anybody can use it. We've heard lots of stories about kids. You know, if you guys want to DM me, I can send you some information and some testimonials from kids that have worn the patch. There's all kinds of incredible testimonials with kids. We've got, of course, athletes. I mean, you've got several stories you could tell about athletes wearing patches.
Well, I've interviewed some former professional Super Bowl winners and other world record holders in the women's 500 and 10,000 meter. Yes, athletes all over the world, very famous people, politicians in our country, very famous top performers. in all walks of life are using this technology, and the world is catching on to natural ways of taking care of our health. We're waking up to the control of the body needs a chemical to tweak it to do something it's not able to do. Well, why don't we restore its ability to do that thing instead of trying to make it do that thing? Most of the time, not really successfully. Just activate different pathways so it does it on its own.
I think it's amazing. Well, and LifeWave is in so many countries. It has over 200 patents, been out for 20 years, no side effects. I mean, that's why I wear it. And that's why I talk about it and recommend it. I would never use something or recommend something that I didn't 100% believe in. And with all of the testimonials and all of the research behind it, I mean, you talked about somebody with MS. I mean, there's stories after so many people that come through crazy illnesses or, they can't walk, debilitating things that, happen to them with one simple patch. It's just amazing.
And everybody needs to know that it's not like people are saying we're treating this disease or disorder, because we don't do that. And
right.
They're not prescriptions. But if you can help somebody regenerate from the core, and then their body starts doing the right things, that's totally different. All kinds of things could go away if we could just do that, regenerate and repair.
Regenerate and repair. Is there anything that you can think of that we haven't touched on, with peptides, specifically peptides? I know you wrote the book, so you're one of the experts.
Well, yeah, we make peptides. The amount we make starts to decrease in some of them as we age. And we haven't even gotten into any of the other ones, BPC 157 and TB 500, those things. That's maybe a different podcast, but it's important to have a way of, without taking pills and injections and other things, to have a very simple, in the background of your life, have a way of repairing and regenerating unbeknownst to you. You simply put a little patch on your skin, forget about it for 12 hours, go about your business, take it off at night, put it back on in the morning. It's one of the simplest things. There's no taste that, you gotta stomach this, you gotta gulp it down. There's no dosing. You just It's just simple. It's just I like easy buttons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Amazon. I don't have to drive around town. It's an easy button.
No, but like you said, it's the size of a Band-Aid, Yeah. And I wear mine at the base of my neck. It's a great conversation piece too. I wear it at the pool or the beach, and people are like, what is that? And that's another thing. It doesn't come off. I mean, I wear mine in the sauna. I have mine at the pool, the beach, wear it all day long. Yeah. I wear mine 12 hours, 6 to 6. And it's something that I will always wear. I'm very grateful and thankful that David Schmidt invented, all of the patches and everything else that he's working on. I'm very grateful and thankful for.
As am I. My life has totally changed because of this technology.
Oh, absolutely. Well, yes, it saved we can't say it saved your life, but it was there and then it was gone. So
huge benefits. Yes.
Huge benefits for sure. Our bodies are designed to heal. I think that given the proper tools naturally, I think that we can heal a lot of things. Absolutely. Give it what it needs in the right dose and activate the things that are kind of running a little slow. That's what this technology does. Well, and with LifeWave, it's been around 20 years. It's not going anywhere. It's not the latest trend, and like you said, the technology has been around. Did you say 1977, 1972? No, the research about the GHK copper peptides since 1977, LifeWave 2004. So 27 years went by, and then David figured out in 2018 what to put in that patch as that crystal structure, that white stuff in there, that would reflect back the correct frequency to turn on this pathway. I love all of that. I think it's amazing. Dr. Harmon, thank you for everything and sharing all your knowledge about peptides today. And obviously we'll have a link for your books because you have 2 of them out.
One of them
in
we
the
didn't
show
talk
notes.
about. That's a
Yep.
topic for another time, but that one's known as the Fountain of Youth Peptide. So
To learn more about LifeWave, simply click on the show notes or the link in my bio. You'll find more information about the technology, the different patches, and how to get started if there's something that might be right for you. Every review, every share, every conversation helps us reach more people. And that's what we want to do. We both feel like this is our calling, and what we're supposed to be doing right now is sharing, holistic options and lifestyles to help you live happier and healthier lives. Until next time, stay grateful, stay grounded.
thanks for tuning in to Root Cause Holistic Health. We're here to help you uncover what's really going on and empower you to take the next step in your healing journey.
Whether you're a mom, a dad, or just someone ready to stop settling for Band-Aid fixes, we hope today's episode gave you something to think about.
If you found this episode valuable, do us a favor, share it with someone you love, and leave a review so we can reach more families like yours.
Make sure to hit follow so you don't miss next week's episode. We've got more honest conversations, practical tips, and root cause wisdom coming your way.
Until next time, stay grounded, stay curious, and most of all, stay connected to what truly matters.
We'll see you next time on Root Cause Holistic Health.